If you get it right or things go left, you gotta put it in the review. Xavier and Jasmine live gaming on Twitch and YouTube. Right or left with Jasmine.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Right or Left with Jasmine. I am your host, and of course half of the crew here at Xavier and Jasmine live gaming on YouTube and Twitch. Today's review is all about It Takes Two, a game Xavier and I live streamed on the channel throughout April. Before we start, I want to be clear on what this video is about. The reason I love gaming is because of all of the unique and well-crafted stories that just don't seem to get popular in many other places. I've written several books of fiction since high school, it's something I love, and writing fiction has a lot to do with video games. So my show, Right or Left, is about reviewing game stories strictly from the perspective of storytelling and writing. I'm looking at 3 specific categories: character and character development, conflict, and plot. It Takes Two is a fun twist on a familiar story told with magical elements that is thoughtful and encouraging. This is a game review, so here's your spoiler alert. May and Cody are a couple who've decided on divorce, much to the disappointment of their young daughter, Rose. Her sadness magically transforms them into dolls who must go through trials to return to their bodies. These trials take place in scaled-up versions of their home shed, backyard tree, a clock, a snow globe, and more. After being forced to work together, and with the help of their spirited counselor, Dr. Hakeem, May and Cody rediscover their sense of friendship and teamwork and return to their bodies in time to comfort Rose. It Takes Two was written by Sony Jorgensen and Joseph Fares. It was developed by Hazelight Studios, released on several platforms in March 2021. It Takes Two had 2 main characters, May and Cody. There were 2 supporting characters too, Dr. Hakeem and Rose. Rose, no more than 7 years old, is the daughter of May and Cody. She's independent, empathetic, and helpful, and she wants her parents to be friends again. Dr. Hakeem is actually a book personified. He's an advocate for Rose and for May and Cody's reconciliation. His extreme and unconventional methods are what force their doll versions into new environments. Cody spent most of the game trying to get back to his body, and we can see that he is motivated by preserving Rose's self-esteem. He does lose focus on Rose in the game's final act, but this is only written for game-length purposes. He seems fun, and gradually becomes friendlier as he is forced to cooperate with May. Cody and his daughter clearly have a lot of fun together. He makes and builds things with Rose, and has a good memory about playing with her. However, Cody is critical of May for working too much, and he blames her for his expired dream of growing a garden. Despite all the wacky obstacles Cody faces, we only get a shallow profile of his character, personality, and lifestyle. We get the same shallow profile for May. She likewise spends most of the game trying to get back into her body, and we see that she too is motivated to protect Rose's self-esteem. May is accused by her husband of prioritizing work over quality time. While it doesn't seem she is verbally supportive of her husband at least, she moves forward on actions as opposed to words of affirmation. For example, she takes Rose to the science museum, she's the only one with income for her family, and she moved to their current house to support Cody's dream of growing a garden. While May's temperament became more encouraging, I don't think she actually changed as a person. Rose's sadness about her parents' divorce is the genesis of the main conflict. She wants her parents to be friends, and when she cries tears, a magical spell is cast that brings us into the main world of the game. Cody and May have been turned into dolls, about an inch tall. While trying to escape wasps, a deadly stuffed animal, and more, Cody and May must figure out how to break the spell and return to their bodies. They spend much of the game trying to make Rose cry again, only to learn that her tears do not break the spell. Then they follow the directions of Dr. Hakeem, and along the way they must solve clockwork puzzles, master each having one half of a magnet, defeat poisoned garden plants, and arrange a concert. They do break the spell, and they do become friends again. But I think Rose is still going to be disappointed because there's not much to suggest they've changed their minds about getting a divorce. The game starts with a quick cutscene where Cody accuses May of working too much, and she rebuttals that Cody doesn't appreciate what she does. This argument makes Rose cry, which casts a spell. Now doll-sized, May and Cody are forced to work together in challenging ways, even as they are taking small jabs at one another. They are approached zealously by Dr. Hakeem, who gives them some advice. They ignore. They fight off squirrels, wasps, and some of Rose's toys in her room. They murder her favorite stuffed animal to make her cry again and reverse the spell, and Rose cries on them, but nothing changes. Meanwhile, in the real world, Rose is concerned because both her parents appear to be sleeping and ignoring her. Unsuccessful May and Cody are approached by Dr. Hakeem again, and they sit down therapy style to actually work on their problems in hopes of breaking the spell. They are nicer to each other by this section, but it felt like in having so much fun, they had forgotten about getting back to their daughter. They learned to respect each other using time-controlling powers.
He's probably gone by now, isn't he? It's been 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gone. We weren't doing anything particularly exciting. Solving magnet puzzles. Their first skiing trip together.
Oh. Like our first skiing trip where I almost died?
Yeah.
Hey man, put your hips away. Stop. It looks so. Oh no. Oh, just.
And Cody reckoned with quitting his dream in a garden environment.
Oh my gosh, he's ramming. He can ram at me.
I'll hold him down now.
Thank you. I was gonna say you gotta let me know.
Lastly, in a musical world, May overcomes anxiety and rediscovers her lost love for singing.
You can do this, May. I know you can.
I don't want to say this, but none of this stuff is gonna save their marriage. I mean, they might like each other more, but
She a toy, damn. These are what they call glow sticks?
when she goes back to working 60 hours a week and he goes back to not taking the trash out.
I'm gonna go back to gardening, damn. Okay.
Finally, May and Cody kiss and the spell is broken. But they return to their bodies to find Rose is missing. She had packed up and left for the bus stop, leaving her parents a note expressing her belief that the divorce was her fault, volunteering to leave so they could be friends again. Her parents find her and reassure her that they will always support her, and that's the end of the game. Because this game is a two-player co-op, the story really isn't the main focus. Trying to resolve May and Cody's predicament generates collaboration and a lot of laughs. It mixes up the environment and game modes very well, and I certainly had a good time. It Takes Two does a great job showing how two different people can perceive something differently. It parallels problems in the character's marriage, like May's work schedule feeling different to May than to Cody, with puzzles and platforming. The characters are forced to identify every scene from their own point of view and from their partners to advance, whereas May and Cody got stuck on things because they didn't really know or consider how their partner identified things. I had a blast with It Takes Two as a player, but as someone interested in the story, it left me wanting more. The story didn't have much trajectory. We never saw May and Cody struggle to achieve their goals on their own, and together they always seemed to work well, even after they had decided in divorce. And in the end of the game, there really was no reason to think that when life returned to normal, their values were going to change. Hey everyone, hope you're enjoying. This is the Xavier and Jasmine live gaming channel on YouTube and Twitch. We stream live video games Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the weekends at 9:00 p.m. Central Time. You can click in the description of this video to see some of the games we're playing right now. I'll see you back on the review with my final thoughts. The story of May and Cody had a lot to do with accountability. May used her demanding job as an excuse from checking in on her husband and daughter. She acted like her actions towards good conditions were a substitute for what were actually unhappy conditions. Cody, meanwhile, did not live up to his responsibilities around the house, and he let his own dream of gardening die and blamed May for her lack of support. We are the stewards of the good things in our lives. We have a responsibility to look at ourselves and evaluate whether we're doing it well. When we're dishonest with ourselves and try to blame others, the good things we have wither away. The good news is that it's never too late to start. May and Cody teach us that with commitment, we can restore accountability to the good things in our lives. Playing their journey was so much fun and full of laughs. But, strictly for the story, It Takes Two gets a 5 out of 10 from me.
Oh, that would be
Don't you do it.
A little bit crazy.
Don't you do it. Sacrifice the queen.
Why would I sacrifice the queen?
Because that's what I was planning.